We've been doing Read and Reflect videos for over a year now, and as we head into the holidays, I wanted to give our regular team a bit of a break. And so for the next several weeks, we'll be receiving videos from our staff and possibly from some other people, just to give the regular team a little bit of a breather and a holiday break. And then we get to hear some perspectives from from other people. Today, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite verses. I hesitate to call it my life verse, only because I feel like my life verse changes depending on what stage of life I'm in. But it is a verse that has meant a lot to me over the last several years. And it's found in 2 Corinthians 12, and I'm going to start in verse 8. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. This is Paul talking about what he referred to as a thorn in his side. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Several years ago, I've lost count. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And at the time, I did not see that as something to boast in or delight in. It was something that was really hard. But as I have learned to live with this illness, it has been something that I have seen as a blessing, because it has not only caused me to really lean into the Lord and really rely heavily on His strength, but it has shown me that when I stop trying to solve everything myself and be strong by myself, that's when God is able to really, I hesitate to say show up, but that's what He does. When I finally open up my hands and say, I can't do it on my own, that's when God goes, it's about time. And most of my life, I have been the person in a situation and in my life where I have tried to be the strong one. And this illness has shown me that I don't have control over anything. And so God has shown me in this process that doesn't change the fact that He has chosen to use me, that He will use me, and that He can use me. And so even though there have been times where I think people think that there's healing in my future, or that healing is part of God's plan for me, if God chooses to heal me, that would be wonderful, and I would accept it wholeheartedly. But I believe that God's plan for me is to show how He does use me and will use me in the midst of the struggle and in the midst of being a person who has an illness and has a chronic illness, because you don't have to wait for a healing. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect and everything to be all right, for God to choose to use you, because that last statement of when you're weak, then you're strong, because that's when He steps in and He takes over, and it's in His strength that the real exciting stuff happens.